In the world of high-performance exotics, more is better. More horsepower, more technology, more driver aids. But what if there was a car that did away with it all? That went back to the basics and stripped away every unnecessary luxury. No traction control, no airbags, no touchscreens or active aero. Caterham does just that. And by making their cars smaller and simpler, they're able to make them cheaper too. The story of Caterham really begins in 1957 with the introduction of the Lotus Seven. It was a car designed by Colin Chapman, who intended it as an affordable production car that could be built at home and raced on the weekends. The open-wheel, open-air sports car was used for trials racing, circuit racing, and enjoying twisty back roads. Lotus sold it as a kit car to dodge Britain's purchase tax. The rules of this fee meant that assembly instructions couldn't be included with the building materials, so Chapman instead gave customers a disassembly manual that could be read in reverse to build the car. This type of ingenuity and contempt for the law summarizes the spirit of the original Lotus 7. Caterham, founded 2 years later in 1959, began as an independent dealership for the Lotus 7. But when the kit car tax loophole was closed in 1973, Lotus ended production of the 7 and sold the rights to them. While there are now thousands of replica Lotus 7s or 7-esque project cars, only Caterham has this direct lineage from the original. Today, more than half a century later, Caterham is still producing a lineup of models evolved from the first Lotus 7s. Although they are now equipped with modern drivetrains, the core philosophy remains the same: less is more. Or as Colin Chapman put it, simplify, then add lightness. Rather than improving performance by piling on loads of horsepower, driver aids, and heavy equipment, the Caterham 7 achieves the same performance by stripping back instead, making a smaller, lighter, and cheaper product with fewer expensive parts to maintain. Their current lineup consists of 5 different Lotus 7 style models. The Super 7 is an homage to the classics, a remastered edition of the original Lotus Super 7, complete with iconic Smith's gauges, polished chrome highlights, and flared fender wings. The 7360 is more of a modern package, with aerodynamic tire-hugging fenders, a Momo steering wheel, and available carbon fiber accents. The 7420 is largely similar, but comes with a small boost in power for more demanding drivers. The 420 Cup builds on this, making the Caterham into a track-focused machine with an optional roll cage, sequential 6-speed transmission, limited slip differential, and adjustable suspension. Finally, the top-tier ultimate Caterham, described as a ballistic monster, is the 7620. It introduces the thrill of forced induction with a standard supercharger, as well as an anti-roll bar, new airflow optimized nose cone, and carbon fiber winglets. Despite this wide model range, the basic underpinnings remain the same on each car. Every Caterham is offered with 2 chassis options: the standard chassis that will fit passengers up to 6'2", or the large chassis that is approximately 8% longer to accommodate drivers up to 6'6". All the models are also sold with a 2-liter 4-cylinder Ford Duratec motor, tuned between 180 to 310 horsepower depending on the model. The Super 7 is also available with a smaller 3-cylinder Suzuki engine, good for about 84 horsepower. And these numbers might not sound particularly impressive. Even the supercharged Caterham 620 only makes as much power as the last generation of Civic Type R. But the stripped down style gives these cars a superior power-to-weight ratio, making them formidable opponents on the track. Some builds can weigh as little as 1,200 pounds. The result? 0 to 60 in just 2.8 seconds, placing Caterham among the stars of the supercar universe. But the UK-based company isn't just building analog Lotus 7 continuations. Recently, they've expanded into the EV market with their Caterham Project V. It's a massive departure from their simplistic combustion engine lineup, including innovative luxuries such as a roof and doors. The Project V is supposed to be an enthusiast's EV, and somehow, despite carrying a 55 kilowatt-hour battery pack, it weighs just over 2,600 pounds, still far less than most modern sports cars. While the Project V is estimated to cost around $100,000 when it comes out in late 2025, the 7 lineup is available today for much less. In the spirit of the originals, Caterham offers their cars, with the exception of the 420 Cup and 620, as do-it-yourself kits. This allows them to be legally driven on the streets in many places where they otherwise wouldn't be. Prices are estimated to start at just over £30,000, or about 40,000 USD, though completed top-end models can be spec'd out to 6 figures pretty easily. Used models typically retain their value pretty well, going for around $25,000 to $45,000. While the experience of a raw, analog sports car may not be for everyone, the comparably high performance at a comparably low cost makes Caterham one of the most popular options for enthusiasts. It's a throwback to simpler times, when driving was an activity that demanded full attention. Let me know in the comments whether you would sacrifice comfort for the supercar slaying potential of a Caterham 7. And thanks for watching.